So we connect. How we actually communicate is on a very subconscious level. And this is what I was going to mention earlier. There's a thing called the heart field. Now, your heart is a brain. I don't know if anybody knows that. It's got over 40,000 brain neurons. It thinks. It makes cognitive decisions. In fact, has anybody ever here made a heartfelt decision? Yeah? In fact, when we look at the neuroscience, in a decision-making process, the heart neurons actually fire just before the brain neurons. Now, this heart field is what they call a torus field. Have you seen the Earth, where the donut of energy, electromagnetic energy from the poles? It kind of protects us from the solar winds, and it causes the aurora borealis. Yeah, well, it's that magnetic flux. You know, if you get a magnet, you put it with the iron filings, you get the circular bits. Well, it's a donut of energy field. In fact, all nature is shaped by torus fields. If you understand about electromagnetic dynamics, torus fields and resonance and frequencies, you'll understand what makes the universe up. This is something Einstein and Tesla talked about. Yeah? So, I mean, look at an apple, look at an orange. It's the shape of a torus field. It's actually the torus field that shapes the fruit. So the heart produces the largest one of the body. In fact, it's up to 5,000 times more powerful electromagnetic field than the brain produces. Now, electromagnetic fields actually extend quite far. With the equipment that we've got, we can physically measure in a room like this the heart field about 8 feet away from the body. If we put ourselves in a Faraday cage that screens electromagnetic radiation, we can measure it 120 feet away. So that means everybody's heart field in here is interacting with each other. Has anybody walked into a room and thought, there's a good vibe in here, I like it? Has anybody talked to somebody and go, we're on the same wavelength, aren't we? Why did you say vibe? Why did you say wavelength? This is real science. Do the research. If you get two magnets and put them together, what do? They push and pull, they interact. They're not physically touching, but you can feel the perturbations from that magnetic field. Subconsciously, we feel these. Your heart actually has a more complex language than our vocal language. It's more expressive. Every single expression of emotion that you have in any given moment is instantaneously reflected in a vibration in this field. We can measure it. You've probably heard from the self-development industry and all the secrets kind of stuff and the law of attraction when they talk about vibe and all this kind of mystical thing. It's not mystical anymore. We can physically measure it, right? The emotion has a specific frequency of vibration, right? Have you ever noticed when you meet somebody, right, if you're on the same wavelength, you both feel great? It's just wave dynamics. If you get a peak of a wave, meet a peak of a wave, you get twice the amplitude. So it lifts you both up. Now, if you meet someone who's a worrywart, a stress head, and you're like high up there, and you spend half an hour with them, you're like, oh my God, they just dragged me down. Yeah, they go out of the room going, oh, I feel better now. Yeah, and that's cancellation and reinforcement. You get the trough of the wave, meet the peak of the wave, you get the sum of the two, which is 0. So our hearts are actually communicating, talking all the time. So when we have an intuition to want to work with somebody, well, that is your heart communicating. And then there's a body brain. We've got brain neurons all over our body. Our stomach has more brain neurons than a cat. And cats are pretty intelligent. And it's a brain. It thinks. Has anybody had a gut instinct? Yeah? Anybody followed the gut? We have this language in our vernacular, but we don't realise what the application is. And real science is showing that these things have a massive effect.